this Marquette Law School poll was released yesterday.
The poll conducted June 13th to 17th sheds light on where voters stand leading up to Wisconsin's primary on August 14th. The director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, is back with us. Good to see you, Charles.
Good to see you. Happy June.
Happy June. Happy summer.
So one of the Democrats candidates dropped out of the race today because of your poll.
Well, Andy Gronick dropped out. He was at 4% in the primary race for governor. Others are at that level or below. So he was one of the 9 candidates that were below 10%. Tony Evers at 25% had the only one in double digits.
So he's the clear leader at this point.
Solid lead at this point. But 34% say they don't know how they'll vote in the Democratic primary. So there's still plenty of time to change. But out of that big field of 9 and now only eight competitors, if they keep spreading the vote among themselves, then it's going to be very hard for one of them to break out. But if it sort of coalesces around 1 or 2, you could see them move up fairly quickly.
Is this sort of common at this point? Well, I mean, with 9 candidates, it's hard to say anything common.
With this big of a field, it's not at all uncommon for there to be one front runner and a whole bunch of people struggling to get traction. The one thing that has happened historically is, in this situation, if something lights a fire for one of the single-digit people, we've seen in a primary, people can come to them very quickly because there's not that much difference among candidates within the party. So if one stands out for some reason, the folks that aren't attracted to the front runner can all coalesce behind them. Don't know if that'll happen this time, but it's not an uncommon situation with this.
Let's talk about Governor Walker and his job approval.
He's at 49% approved, 47% disapproved. That's the first time since the week before he was reelected in 2014 that he's been higher in approval than disapproval. He's been exactly tied in our previous 2 polls, but this is the first time since 2014 that he's gotten just a little bit net positive.
How about the Republican primary for the Senate race?
In the Senate race, we have Nicholson leading by about 5 points, 37-32 over Vukmir. But again, there, 30% are undecided, and well over 60% say they don't have an opinion about either of those 2 candidates. That 5 points is a fairly modest difference given the margin of error for the primary. And so again, I'd say that one's pretty close, even though the percentage point's a little larger than it is for some of the others.
I would think that would give some of these candidates, though, a huge opportunity in the next couple of months.
You really do have a situation where Tony, of all the Democratic and the 2 Republican candidates, Tony Evers is the best known, and 61% still say they don't have an opinion of him. For all the rest, it's even worse. So that's where, when we get intensive coverage of the campaign, we get big TV ad buys, though they may have to come late in the game because these campaigns are also splitting the money. And so they're not, any of them, rich enough to just sort of buy up a whole lot of ad time. It may be in, I think, late July before we really see the air wars come up.
And at this point, there's not going to be a televised debate on the Democratic governor's side. There's just too many candidates.
It looks like there are various organizations trying to put together some kinds of debates, but the idea of a statewide debate doesn't seem to still be in the cards.
August is right around the corner for these primary elections, so
we'll be sure is.
See you soon. Things heating up.
Okay.
All right, Charles, thank you.
Good to see you, Charles. Thank you so much.
We'll be right back with